nations. And you know, you guys have probably been here for a while and you've heard the acknowledgement to country a few times. How many of you feel you truly understand why we say that? Because I know I didn't for a long time. Put your hand up if you think you truly understand why we do the acknowledgement to country. Okay, so I'd say about 10-15% of the room. So I really want to explain that today because someone explained it to me and I felt like I'd overcome my ignorance. The Indigenous people are the traditional owners of our land, and sadly, after European settlement, many of them were killed and died. And they have such rich history and culture and tradition through storytelling, and their love of the land is such a beautiful thing that I feel during my high school experience, I was never really taught that. Yes, we were taught about World War I, World War II, we were taught about a European settlement, but very little during my time at high school was mentioned about our traditional owners who have such a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure things have changed now, but that's why it's so important. So I pay my respects to them. So as mentioned, I actually work at Deakin University at the moment. I manage the entrepreneurship programs, and I also serve on the board of Bendigo Community Banks, where I'm one of their youngest directors. I became a director at 21, and we have the branches out in Canterbury, Ashburton, Surrey Hills, and Balwyn. And I'll talk a little bit about it later. I wanted to start with this. This is me and my mum. I was born in 94. I was the fattest baby to be born in the hospital. I was 12 pounds, that's 5 kilos. So well done to my mother. Growing up, my mother tells me this story that even the people who were cleaning up the hospital, they dropped their broomsticks to come and see the fat baby. So that's me. And I'm from a little place called Griffith. That's where I was born and bred. And I was there till I was about 16 years old. Griffith is in New South Wales, but it's actually closer to Melbourne than Sydney. Every time I tell someone I'm from Griffith, and they're like, oh, why didn't you go to Sydney? It's like, no, Melbourne's actually closer. So it's just about there, somewhere in the middle, but closer to Melbourne. Go to the next slide. I want to start with this story. Jacqueline Novogratz is one of my greatest role models. Now, Jacqueline, she's the founder of a company called ACT. I encourage you to get involved in them because all of your universities have them now. And now she's gone back and she started this company and it's all about ethical skincare, and I think she's doing amazing work and she's still quite young. The other person is Param, who I only met recently. I connected with him on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and he's doing incredible work. He, at the moment, is working, he's one of the co-founders of Moo Farm, which is working with some of the poorest dairy farmers in India. Over 20,000 farmers are using his technology, and he also started a company called Uday, which is a skills development company working with Prime Minister Modi's Skill India program. And he studied in Australia and he's gone back and taken these skills to do phenomenal work, and then he spends his time between the two countries. And I find him incredibly inspiring. And then there's Anand. Anand was, I think, our alumni of the year last year, but I actually met him through his entrepreneurial journey. He started a media company that gets about 300, the media production they do gets 300 million monthly views. And he's back in India doing that, and he's always happy to look at employing other students and giving internships. So these are 3 international students, for me, that I find really inspiring. One of the things is, I have 3 role models myself, and I encourage you to have those. And the way I go about it is something that a mentor taught me, is find someone who's about 20 or 30 years ahead of you. Someone who really inspires you, whether you discover them through blogs, books, videos, YouTube, wherever you discover them. There could be someone who's passed away. It could be someone, for me, my top sort of inspiration is Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And then find someone who's sort of that 15 years, 20 years, 15 years ahead of you. For me, that's Jacqueline Novogratz. And then find someone who's just a few years ahead of you, just a few. And these are sort of your 3 mentors and role models. I encourage you to connect with them. Some of you might be thinking, well, why would they want to talk to me? Believe it or not, as soon as people see passion and passion and resilience and persistence, they want to help you. And people like to know that they have skills and life experience that inspires other people. A lot of the time I catch up with my mentors and I just ask them about their experience and, you know, how their work's been or how they deal with tough situations. It's not just about, you know, getting a job is one thing, but it's not just about, oh, I need to do this to get a job. That's not the end goal. You'll find that those things will come to you when you focus on your relationships and you focus on being generous and giving back first. You see that those things come back to you. I want to finish with this. This is a quote. I haven't memorized it yet, so I'm going to read it to you, by Roosevelt. And I love this picture by an artist in Canada, ZHK Designs on Instagram. She does some amazing artwork of South Asian women. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who spends herself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And that was by Franklin Roosevelt, one of the past presidents of the United States, a better one than the current one probably. But thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will probably swing by again this evening at the networking night, so I hope to meet some of you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.